The Minas Basin is an inlet of the Bay of Fundy and a sub-basin of the Fundy Basin located in Nova Scotia, Canada. It is known for its extremely high tides. Geography. Boundary. The Minas Basin forms the eastern part of the Bay of Fundy, which splits at Cape Inmouchar and is delineated by the massive basalt headlands of Cape Split and Cape d'Or. The Minas Basin is split into four sections. Canada.It Bay, from the mouth of the Salmon River to a narrow point between Economy and the Knoll Shore. Central Minas Basin, for the mouth of Canada.It Bay to the narrow point between Parrsboro and Cape Midden. The Southern Bight, for the mouth of the Avon River to the narrow point between Cape Midden and the Knoll Shore. And the Minas Channel, from central Minas Basin to the narrow line between Cape Inmouchar and the Annapolis Valley shore. Several important rivers in Nova Scotia drain into the Minas Basin: Shubenacadie River, Cornwallis River, Avon River, Gaspereau River, and the Salmon River. Lesser rivers include the Canard River, Diligent River, Farrell River, and Ebert River. Along the northern edge of the Minas Basin lies a chain of intermittent high-cliffed basaltic bluffs and islands called the Basalt Headlands. Tides. Burnt Coat Head, located on the Knoll Shore along the south side of the Minas Basin, is the location of the highest tidal range ever recorded, exceeding 16 meters during a spring tide only, and has one of the highest average tidal ranges every day. The waters of Minas Bay exchange with the main part of the Bay of Fundy through the Minas Channel, which flows between Cape Split and Cape Sharp, creating extremely strong tidal currents, and near Cape d'Or, the turbulent collision of currents known as the Dory Rips. The water in the Minas Basin is a denser, nearly opaque reddish-brown due to large amounts of suspended silt which are continually churned by tidal currents. At mid-tide, the currents exceed 8 knots per second, and the flow in the deep 5-kilometer-wide channel on the north side of Cape Split equals the combined flow of all the rivers and streams on Earth together per hour. Closing parenthesis. Communities. Several communities border the Minas Basin of the rivers that flow into it. They include Truro, Windsor, Parrsboro, Great Village, Bass River, Five Islands, Economy, Wolfville, Walton, and Kingsport. Historically, Parrsboro, Wolfville, and Kingsport were connected by the MV Kippawa ferry, whose name was derived from the three communities. Parks. Provincial parks at Antony, Five Islands, and Cape Midden allow visitors to enjoy and explore the Minas Basin. Community parks interpreting the basin include the Kingsport waterfront in Kings County, the Walton Lighthouse and Burnt Coat Head Lighthouse in Hants County, and the Lookout Tower in Economy, and the Ottawa House Museum in Parrsboro in Cumberland County. History. Settlement. The Mi'kmaq were the first people to inhabit the area around the Minas Basin. Mi'kmaq tradition ties the god Glooskap in with significant geographical features such as Cape Midden and Five Islands. European explorers and traders arrived in the early 1600s. Among them were the French explorer Samuel de Champlain, who explored the copper deposits at Cape d'Or at the entrance to the basin in 1607. Champlain bestowed the name Port of Mines on nearby Advocate Harbour to reflect the seams of copper ore at Cape d'Or. While the French did not establish a mine, the name Les Mines became associated with the upper Bay of Fundy beyond Cape d'Or, which became known as the Bay des Mines, later anglicized to Minas Basin. French Acadian settlements began in the late 1600s, first with settlements around the southern shore of the Minas Basin, which became known as Les Mines. The Acadians had a particularly significant impact of the area in that they reclaimed considerable farmland through the use of dikes and aboiteaux. They founded in the area Grand Pre-Acute Les Mines mines, Pisiguit, Cobequid, Riviere aux Canards, and Beaubassin. Even today, the dike systems, greatly expanded by later additions, are still used near Truro and Wolfville at Port Williams and Grand-Pre-Acute. In 1755, the British forcibly expelled the over 12,000 Acadians from Grand-Pre-Acute, Pisiguit, Cobequid, and Beaubassin, in what became known as the Grand Derangement, or Great Expulsion. Demographics. The vacant Acadian settlements around the Minas Basin were succeeded by the New England planters who arrived in 1760 and were later joined by Loyalist settlers in the 1780s. The planters rebuilt and expanded the Acadian dike systems, reclaiming more farmland from the basin through projects like the Wellington Dike in 1816. Industry. The communities around the Minas Basin were sustained by fishing, logging, farming, mining, boat building and shipbuilding. In the late 19th century, the basin's shipyards produced some of the highest numbers of wooden ships in Canadian history and some of the largest, including the ship William D. Lawrence, the largest wooden ship built in Canada, along with the giant barks Kings County, Canada's largest four-masted bark, and Hamburg, Canada's largest three-masted bark. The tidal water also provided a means of transporting commodities such as lumber, apples and gypsum, and powered tide mills at locations such as Canning, Hantsport and Walton. Mining included gypsum, iron, barite, manganese, and copper. Gypsum was shipped from Hantsport until 2009. Nature. Marine mammals include seals and porpoises. Fish include bass and flounder, lobster, crab, mussel, and clam are common. Many types of seaweed, sponges, worms, sea lilies and more are also found. Birds include sandpipers, terns, eagles, falcons, seagulls, herons, and kingfishers. Fossils are found near Parsborough, Blue Beach and other areas along the Avon River. Rarely, fossils have been found at Evangeline Beach, Burncoat Head, and other locations. These fossils include various shells, sponges, trees, fish, amphibians, reptiles, and dinosaurs. Trace fossils include vertebrate footprints, fish fin tracks, invertebrate trackways, raindrop imprints, and wave ripples. They range from the beginning of the Carboniferous to the Jurassic. They were deposited when the region was warm and tropical, later when it was covered by a shallow sea, and later still when it was a desert. Minerals include a variety of zeolites from the basalt cliffs at Cape Split, the area around Parsborough, Five Islands and Cap d'Or. These include Nova Scotia's provincial mineral stilbite, as well as hewlandite, analcima, shabazite, gemelionite, natrolite and thomsonite. Other minerals found in the basalts include calcite, magnetite, copper, and quartz. Beautiful agate is also found in the sedimentary rocks. Gypsum is commonly found at Blomidon, Clark Head, and near Windsor in both the colorless variety and the fibrous variety, the latter sometimes being bright orange. Other minerals from the sedimentary rocks include pyrite, calcite, barite, manganite, and pyrolusite. Small amounts of fluorite, celestite, howlite have also been found at Chevery.